Today I wanna tell you about this external monitor, and it has a little surprise. Right now you can see me playing on it, but the Type-C cable is actually connected just to the power supply, and the monitor itself is too thin to contain the processing power for such demanding games. I think many of you are starting to understand that I am running Steam Link. And that's possible because this monitor has a built-in Android, which means it has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and so on. Have you seen many monitors like this? I haven't, so I was excited to review this one. The specs are pretty good here too. It has a 16-inch IPS panel, 1600p resolution and 144Hz refresh rate. For connectivity, it has two Type-C ports, HDMI in and HDMI out for some reason. There's even a slot for microSD card if you want to install software APKs directly. It also has stereo speakers and even magnetic cover for transportation. Seeing all this, I can imagine a lot of use cases, which is what I've been doing for the last month. But I should mention that this monitor was sent to me for a review. But as usual, it will not affect my opinion and what I will say. In fact, this is exactly what they needed. The monitor comes in this box. It will contain the monitor itself, magnetic kickstand/cover, Type-C cable, HDMI cable, 45W power supply, and the remote control. Let's start with the fact that this is not the regular version of Android you're used to seeing. It's an Android TV, and since the monitor is not a touchscreen, you can't control it without a remote. But in some ways it's even convenient. I've been using it in the kitchen for a while to watch YouTube. It turns on quickly and works very responsively. But it's worth noting that it runs in Full HD resolution at 60Hz. And it seems that it's the maximum resolution available in this mode, which is a bummer. Surprisingly, you can even use a gamepad for navigation, so I don't always need a remote to access Steam Link. Let's do a network test, and we got a stable Wi-Fi connection. Of course there will be a slight delay, but for some games it's not critical at all. I gave up my handheld for a couple of months and mostly play it on iPad via Steam Link. And then I thought that nothing prevents me from replacing my iPad with this monitor. This way I can get a bigger screen. It's 16 inches compared to iPad's 11 inches. So to fit it in there, I made a Frankenstein out of two monitor holders. My plan worked out, but because of the screen size, the compression artifacts during streaming are more noticeable. And don't forget that we are still limited to Full HD at 60Hz. To reduce eye strain at night, there is no night mode, but there is an option to reduce the blue color. But after a few days, I decided that I was more comfortable with the iPad screen and ended up going back to it. And now, it's a good time to talk about the screen quality. I don't have any devices to measure things like color accuracy and so on, but I can compare it with the same iPad. They both have IPS panels and can show some nice visuals. The only difference is that this monitor has a matte finish. But still, if you look at it from the side, it seems to me that it loses from viewing angles. On the right side, there are buttons to customize the picture, HDR and FreeSync options, and they will be needed for the primary use of this monitor. Probably most often it will be considered not as a device for cloud gaming or Android TV, but as a portable monitor. For that, it has a magnetic kickstand, so you can put it next to your laptop. And also, it serves as a screen cover, so it won't get scratched while you throw it into the backpack. By detaching this kickstand, you can find the waist amount. But I just used an AliExpress holder to fix it on a table. By connecting over Type-C, it turns on quickly with no additional power needed, so you can plug directly into your handheld as I just did with the Legion Go. Just be aware that it will draw about 13 extra watts from the battery. But when connecting to the MacBook via Type-C, it does not detect the right resolution and offer the list that doesn't fit the form factor. Opening the list of resolutions, we can find the right one, but in this case, the font and the interface will be too small to use. But when connected via HDMI, there are no such problems. Also, for some reason, when connected via HDMI to PC, the max refresh rate is always limited to 130Hz. And I've tried different HDMI cables, but most likely it's limited by port version. The sound from the speakers isn't that bad, quite enough for videos, simple music or games. The funny part is that this monitor has HDMI out port, and by plugging, for example, a TV into it, we turn our TV into a TV. This is my best idea of using this port. Has anyone have a better suggestion? But at least in this mode we can set a 4K resolution. So quite an interesting monitor. I had fun digging into it and I will definitely find a use for it at home or if I want to use an extra monitor for editing videos while traveling. Yeah, in some cases the picture quality isn't perfect, but considering the price, I think it's forgivable. I found a monitor with similar specs at a local store and it's in a whole different price league. And no Android TV will be there. And I think it's a serious advantage over the others for applications like Steam Link. I would love to see the similar model in the future with an OLED panel, but I realized that would have a significant impact on its price. If you'd like to take a closer look at this monitor or check out its price, I'll leave the links in the description. Now I can take a tea break, and then I will have a lot more to tell you about. See you there!